Hello, everyone. It is Sunday night, and we are coming to you live from inside of Bat City Comic Professionals in Bradenton, Florida, to help you wind down your weekend. As always, I'm your host, Shannon, aka Small Press Shan, here to tell you about all the latest and greatest in indie and small press new releases. But of course, before we can talk about our new comics, we've got to talk about how we're winding down our weekend and what wine we're going to do that with. And so this week we have Louis Jadot, which is a Beaujolais from the Beaujolais Village. And Matt, you said this is the most widely produced, is that what you said?
Yeah, and distributed.
Most widely produced and distributed Beaujolais in the world. Matt, what does it mean that it's a Beaujolais?
The Beaujolais is the region of France that it comes from, and usually they're wines that have been made very recently. So this is 2024, and they are meant to be consumed early too. They are not something that you're supposed to hold in your cellar. You're supposed to drink them while they are young, because they mostly have very bright floral flavors.
Okay.
And very strawberry kind of flavors. So they're meant to have not as rich of a flavor. A famous wine journalist once said that Beaujolais is their favorite white wine that is red.
Oh, so it's going to say it's very like a white wine. It does say that it is a plump wine with notes of strawberry, black cherry, and spice. It says it goes well with hors d'oeuvres, mild cheese, and poultry dishes. So that does make sense for it being like a white wine kind of style thing. And it's 100% Gamay. And is that normal for a Beaujolais to be 100%?
Yeah, it's usually produced with Gamay grapes.
Awesome. So we're going to give it a smell and a try. I can't really smell it, but I can't really smell much because I'm sniffling. So what does it smell like?
Strawberries. A little bit of flowers.
What kind of flowers do you think it smells like?
Violets.
Violets.
Like kind of like when you walk into a field of fresh flowers.
It tastes like flowers. Tastes like flowers and strawberries. Yeah. That's good. It is very light, like you said, though. Like it's very like it tastes like a nice light strawberry juice. Mm-hmm. It tastes like, you know what it tastes like? It tastes like the wine equivalent of rose tea. Or rose water, not tea.
Yes.
Like it tastes like the wine equivalent of rose water.
I love rose water.
I know you do, and that's why I made that connection, because I'm like, oh, wow, that does taste like that. It's very fresh. Like, it's a refreshing wine.
It does have tannins on the tongue. Mm-hmm. You can taste the tannins afterward.
Yeah, like they kind of stick with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which is nice.
Yeah.
But not the alcohol.
No.
You don't taste the alcohol.
It's a little bit of that spice that it says it has, like, in it, but it's just kind of like, the spice is kind of just like a tannin-y flavor to the strawberry. Yeah, it's really good. Again, I would take this on a picnic. Like on a spring day when I want something light, but I want something to go with like my picnicky foods. This is something I would take for that.
It's very nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to be drinking this throughout the show. And then we're going to have some fun. Speaking of fun, we had a lot of fun this last week at Bat City. Oh my gosh, there's so many events. I'm trying to remember all of them. So we had Zine Night on Wednesday. Thank you for everybody who came out. And we did our new beginning zine, where we had people tell the beginnings of stories and things that they wanted to start fresh on this year, like a little combination of those two things, which is a lot of fun. Of course, we'll have Zine Night again next month, so if you missed it, check that calendar as the February calendar comes out so that you can see when that's going to be. We had book club this last Thursday night, and we read our Fresh Start book club, read Velvet #1, which was a lot of fun. We had so many people come out for that one, so I hope to see all of them again next month when we read. Katie, what are we reading next month?
We are reading Super Dinosaur.
Super Dinosaur. Yes, we are going to be reading Robert Kirkman's Super Dinosaur, which may mean that you get an appearance from Matt at that book club because he loved Super Dinosaur. That was a fun one for him. And so we are going to be reading that for our February book club, issue #1.
And it's Robert Kirkman,
It's Robert
so if
Kirkman.
you guys are into Invincible, you should definitely come out because Super Dinosaur makes appearances in Invincible.
Woo! Super Dinosaur has crossovers in Invincible, so if you want to learn a little bit more about Super Dinosaur, it's really cool. Mike was showing some cartoons that might have been inspirations for Super Dinosaur when we were talking about it, so we're going to talk about that next month when we read that book. So there's a lot of really cool stuff. So Kirkman fans, make sure you grab that. It's only $1 to grab that first issue, and that's all we read for the book club. So it's a great way to just jump in and see if it's something that you might like. And then we had Miss Katie's art class on Saturday, and we had a packed house for Miss Katie's art class, and they got to learn all about backgrounds and putting your character into backgrounds, and they did their 4-panel comics on a cute little pig. And we had some really great stories. Like they did the background drawings with Miss Katie, they did the pig story, and then almost everybody made an additional story. And I have to give special shout out to the kids who made Rainbow Bright stories because they have great taste in characters for their stories. But so we had that, and that was a lot of fun. And then this week coming up, we have a bunch more stuff. This Wednesday we have manga meetup. That's at 6 p.m. Come talk about your favorite manga. It doesn't matter which one. You don't have to read a certain one. You just have to come and talk about what you are reading. And if you aren't reading manga and you've always wanted to get into it, this is a great time to come find some suggestions from people who are reading pretty much everything on the shelf, all the way down to people who are reading their very first manga. And so it's a great way to find out what's going on in the manga world. And then Thursday is Ladies and Non-Binary Nerd Night. So excited. One of our favorite events of the month each month. It starts at 8 p.m. Come out. There's drinks, there's snacks. There's so much fun. Who knows what will happen at Ladies Night. It's after the store closes, and it's always fun. And then on Saturday we have comic creation workshops. So bring those kids out at 11:30 and 3:30 to learn how to write and create their own comics. They're going to learn a lot about character development and story development through that class. So come out, and as always, all of those events are free, so just come hang out with us. I'm going to take one more drink of our wine before we kick off the comics that we're talking about. Wow. It just has like a nice, again, just like it like opens up to more flowers. It's very pretty. I bet it's just going to taste like so pretty as it opens because it's going to have more and more of that floral strawberry smells and flavors come into it.
It's very nice on its own too. You don't need food with this.
Yeah.
If you're going to a party that you just have wine, like a cocktail party, this might be nice.
Yeah, I can see it being nice at a cocktail party. I kind of feel like it's a daytime wine, which sounds weird, but like it feels like I said, like it's like a picnic wine to me. Like I'm like, this is something I would drink outside, like on a nice pretty day.
And this is $11 to $14 a bottle.
Oh, that's not bad.
So if you were going to buy that bottle of Barefoot at Winn-Dixie for $13.99,
you might as well buy this. Yeah. All right, we are going to kick it off and start talking about some comics, and we are going to launch it with Godzilla issue 6 from IDW. This is the launch point for the Kaisei era of Godzilla, which if you know your Godzilla, you know there's a different era every few decades in the movie industry, and so we got to launch the new one in the comic book world this year, and this is the end of this very first arc of the Kaisei era period. And this story has kind of given us our fundamentals of that era, which is that we are seeing that Kaisei is essentially the energy inside of Godzilla that makes like his atomic blast and all that kind of power that he has. And in this new era, we're seeing that people can learn to harness that in different ways. And in this story, we've been following the G-force of people who are trying to, stand against like kaiju attacks on different people and different places. And they've been trying to hunt down Godzilla because they can't figure out how he's getting inland and attacking some places. And they've brought a new member of their team on whose name is Jason. And Jason has the ability to use Kaisei energy in the same way that Godzilla kind of does. And he is trying to use it to get revenge on Godzilla because Godzilla attacked a city where his mother was and she died. And we've learned recently that Godzilla, the new villain in this, is named Lament, and it is somebody who is like a kaiju that can speak, that is essentially bringing the sorrow and darkness into the world. And while they've needed Jason to kind of help stand against them and Godzilla at the same time, Jason still can't get past his anger towards Godzilla. And in this issue, we really get to see the ability to kind of step into what Lament is actually doing and why Jason is pushed as far as he is and the way he is. This is the end of this arc. I don't think it'll be the end of the series. I think we'll get to see some more because it does kind of just set up the entire world. Now, whether we're going to see that in more issues of this Godzilla run or whether we're going to see that jump into something in the movie world or somewhere else, I don't know yet, but I'm really excited to see what Godzilla franchise as a whole does with that new power that we're seeing. We've got Eat Your Young, number 5 from Mad Cave. This is such an exciting thing because I thought this was going to be the last issue, but this is actually not going to end on issue 5. This is by Brian Bucoletto, who did Chicken Devil, which was such a fun story. And this is another one of those like big action adventure kind of stories from Brian. There is a world of people who are immortals, and basically in this world, when an immortal parent has like all these kids over the course of decades and generations, and then there comes a point like every 100 years where that immortality is up for grabs. And so there's this one day where everybody becomes mortal, and if somebody challenges the alpha of that family, in this case like the father, they kill him and eat his heart, essentially, they gain the power of being the ultimate immortal. And so they become the immortal member of the family, and everybody else loses that mortality. And so we are watching as this family has come to the point where the dad has reached that immortal stance. And while he's had several times where this has happened before, none of his kids have ever been able to beat him in battle. But this time around, we are seeing a bunch of kids who are really working together to do just that. And the alliances and the battles that are coming are really getting out of hand. And in it, we are also seeing his youngest daughter, his newest born, like he's trying to keep her safe from all of this because he wants that to be his heir. And some really dangerous members of the family have just turned the tables big time. And this is going to continue to twist and turn and maybe solve in the next issue. Who knows? This could keep going for as long as Brian pushes it. We've got Blue Falcon and Dynama issue 5 from Dynamite. This is the end of this series for at least for now. And this is following along as the cartoon character Blue Dynamite, or Blue Falcon, gets and Dynamite get kind of an upgrade into our modern time. But this is the story of a man who is a superhero called the Blue Falcon, and he's just kind of one of those like Batman people who's good at tech stuff and gadgets and just extremely rich. And he has a dog who becomes a robotic dog in this story, and you'll see why if you read the series. But over the course of this, he has had a woman that he has been courting, essentially, who we've learned has turned out to be not so on the up and up with things, and she has been trying to steal his power belt that he's made that causes him to have anti-gravity powers, because an organization wants that power for themselves to create an army, and she just wants money so that she can essentially buy a huge part of the Amazon and live with the animals and keep them safe as well as the jungle safe. And it's caused her to have some double crossings of her own in this. And I have to say, Jimmy Palmiotti had, that connection to when DC did a lot of the Warner Brothers books that were kind of like, let's age up those Warner Brother characters for adults. And he did that very well in this one again. While so many of the Dynamite stories have just been like, here's like essentially another episode of the show, Jimmy Palmiotti was like, here is Blue Falcon for you as an adult now, in a way where like you don't know, like where it's like, oh, we would never actually hurt the bad guys on these cartoons. And Jimmy Palmiotti was like, haha, this isn't a cartoon, so we're gonna hurt people and it's gonna be bad. And you need to see just how crazy he takes that for sure. Speaking of cartoons, we've got Street Sharks issue 4 from IDW. This is bringing the world of the Street Sharks cartoon toys line to the comic book world. And this is such a funny story. Unlike some of the other like ones like this, like Ninja Turtles and stuff like that, this is not purely episodic. This has been one story going on throughout the thing, and that is that their villain is trying to figure out how to control the masses, and they've been trying to poison the different things to try to get a hold of like mind control on the different people in the town. And in this one, they figure out the way to do that by poisoning the food at the burger restaurant in a way that makes people unable, like they're like unable to stop eating like these hamburgers. And so it's like once you eat a hamburger, you just keep going. And so they've figured out how to essentially like trap these people in an endless loop of desiring these hamburgers, which I feel like Matt would not find a problem, that you could just can't stop eating cheeseburgers. I think that maybe that actually has already happened to Matt. But the street sharks are trying to figure it out because they know that there's something going on that's causing this feeding frenzy, and it's kind of leading them on the path towards figuring out what exactly the villain is up to and why he would want to mind control people. And you're going to see a little bit of that in there, but it's definitely leading us to more adventure in the story. We've got The Phantom, issue 4 from Mad Cave. This book continues to just be a really great pulp adventure. Bringing this character back, we could have modernized it a lot. We could have gone in some different ways, but they kind of really stuck true to all the important elements of the Phantom, which is really awesome to see. But this is following the Phantom as the local village that he is in charge of keeping safe gets attacked by a drug lord who is threatening to kill everybody in the village if they don't work for him. And of course they are trying to stand against him, and they don't want to actually be a part of this. And the Phantom is having to come in and kind of try to get these guys out of there and stop this violence from happening. And he's been doing a great job of sneaking in and attacking for the last 3 issues. But in the beginning of this issue, he actually gets shot in what could be a fatal wound. And it's now up to the people of the village to turn around and save the Phantom. And it's interesting to see his friend, who has been he's been trying to get to and trying to protect, actually get to see center focus of the story and be the one who's trying to save the Phantom. And I just always love those stories where the hero actually needs somebody else to be the hero for them, and the way they like turn the tables. And this did such a great job of doing exactly that. Orphan and the Five Beasts, Bath of Blood. This is issue 4 from Dark Horse, and this is going to be the wrap-up of this part of Orphan and the Five Beasts. We've been going on with this series for a few years now, as we are following a girl who wants to get her revenge on these demons that destroyed her village and her family. And so in the original volume, she went out and she got some training, and over the course of the different volumes of the story, she has been hunting down different demons. We recently learned that the bathhouse owner and his wife are connected to the demon that she is fighting. And so in the last issue, we got a really cool backstory with that villain and how that was formed. It was so good. And now this is the fallout of that, and the fight between the demon at the bathhouse and our main character as they kind of figure out how to destroy this demon, not only to put our character back on her path of revenge, but also to really just wrap up that gorgeous backstory that they gave us and just give that character their own kind of release in this story. But really great, really, really awesome to see this one wrap up. And James Stokoe on all of it, on writing and art and everything. It's just really cool to see how this world keeps getting bigger, and these demons just always look so wicked in the story. We've got TMNT, The Shredder, issue 4 from IDW. This has been such a cool book. I love to see the way that they are giving Shredder his own adventure. If you've been following the Ninja Turtles world, ever since Sophie Campbell's run on Ninja Turtles has ended, we haven't known where the Shredder was, and he hasn't come back into the main continuity of Turtles yet until this solo series. We're getting to see what exactly happened and why he's there. And of course, this is an interesting thing because we are kind of in the world where his essentially his granddaughter Karai is running the Foot Clan. So why is Shredder back, and what exactly does he want from that? And in issue 1, he is actually brought back, and he's brought in essentially as an agent for the government. They're like, look, we'll give you the immunity you need, but you have to help us take down this group of people who are attacking the country and the city. And Shredder's like, okay, but I work alone. I don't want you your help. And they're like, absolutely 100% not. like we're putting an agent with you. And so we've been seeing Shredder as this rogue agent having to work with this woman, and his whole thing is like, stay out of my way, as he's hunting down the pieces of the puzzle of like, who is this person that is running this shadow organization, and what is it that they're doing, and who are they trying to get after. And we learn some big pieces of the puzzle in this issue that I don't really want to spoil for you, but it's really cool to see Shredder going on this adventure. And of course I can't wait, because I think there's only one, or no, I don't know how many issues there are left, 1 or 2 I think, but the fact that I know we're gonna see Shredder like double cross everybody and become like the evil Shredder that we know him as, but we're not there yet. And so it's cool to see this story like build and build and build, and Shredder kind of becoming more attached to this person that's the agent that's partnered with him. And yet you know it's Shredder, there's a double cross coming, and I'm like, what is it gonna be? Dan Watters is writing it, so like for all of you like big two like Dan Watters fans and stuff, like you should definitely be picking this up, because it's got such a good cool vibe. Synthetics, Volume 1, Issue 3 from Dark Horse. This is J. Michael Straczynski on a cool sci-fi like world building story that we kind of seen a little bit of things like this from him in the recent years, but it's fun to see him back on a series. And this is all about the fact that the world has kind of come to a point where there's just sections of it that are completely destroyed, and we're basically living like we have final days kind of numbered for when we know that the world is going to end. And there's 2 researchers who have figured out a way to essentially like synthesize human life and build a way that we can survive, but also like synthetic humans are still outlawed, and that's not a thing you're supposed to do. And so we're getting to see a couple different pieces of this puzzle as these 2 like corporate people are kind of both racing to get there first and underhandedly like cutting each other down, but also working together to bring this up. And then we're also getting just these stories of the world kind of ending and where the world is. And J. Michael Straczynski has built an extremely big sci-fi world in this for one of those just like really troubled futures. And if you haven't checked it out yet, it's on issue 3 of 4 of this volume. We know there's going to be more volumes because he labeled it volume 1 on the thing, so you know that there's more to come. But this story is another one where we're seeing bigger pieces of the puzzle come and build on each other as the series goes on and on. We've got Deluge, issue 3 from Ignition and our buddy Cullen Bunn. This is actually like heating up a lot. We always say like, issue 3 is the big turn for a story, and we definitely saw that in this as we built into where this is going. If you don't know the story of Deluge, basically there is a women's prison that is close to a flood zone, and a ton of rain breaks out. A levee seems to have broken, damaging it, causing the flood waters to rise. Of course, the prison hasn't been maintained, and so now the prison is flooding, and they need to get all the prisoners out. As they start taking these women out one by one to get them to the emergency raft boats that they're going to take them on, there suddenly seems to be something in the water as they go through the pathways to get to the boats, and these monsters start attacking the women. But the thing about it is that that's not the only danger in the water, because these are like, some of these women are extremely violent criminals who want to find their own way out. And in this issue we do see those moments, because we do actually see some of the women who have grouped themselves together who are actually trying to find an escape path, not from the monsters that they don't even know are there yet, but from the cops and the prison system in and of itself. And one of the other things we see in this one is we actually learn what the monsters might actually be and where they're coming from. Well, I guess we don't really know where they're coming from, but we have an idea. And the really cool like folklore that gets built into that from Cullen is really cool, and definitely takes this series like to a completely different level for where it's going as it builds. We've got Minor Threats, issue 3 from Dark Horse. This is the last devil left alive, this part of this Minor Threats world. If you haven't read the Minor Threats like stories at all, I recommend you jump in. Like, this is one of those worlds where we're not talking enough about this like dark, gritty universe for supervillains that that Patton Oswalt and Jordan Blum have built. It is such an interesting take on the superhero world for people who like those alternatives to the super big two that we see all the time. This is such a cool one. And in this volume of Minor Threats, we are still following Frankie Vallis, our Playtime supervillain, who has been trying to keep the villains in line. She's kind of been put in charge of the world at large more than she ever expected. And now there is a new villain in the mix who is trying to change everything by bringing in these duplicates of people. Like, they're bringing in these alternate versions of them and just kind of changing the game entirely. And we see Frankie having so many problems in that, like, their ex is possibly teaming up with bad guys, going against Frankie. Their daughter that they were estranged from has become a superhero, which is something Frankie never thought. And it's so funny that, like, Frankie is like, I never would have thought that my child would be a hero. Like, my mom would be so disappointed. We're from a line of villains. And we are teaming up with people who are impacting Frankie's life definitely in some negative and positive ways. And also, I have to show you, we are teaming up with Mancar. In this issue, you want to talk about people who are creating villains and heroes that you are not expecting. Patton Oswalt and Jordan Blum are definitely doing it. This world is gritty, it's dark, and it's so creative in all the different ways that they're building these heroes and even the problems they go through. It's like, it starts out sounding like something you would expect in a big two book, and then they twist and turn and leave you in a place where you're like, okay, like, I definitely need to check this out more and more. If you haven't read any Minor Threats, you can find one of these arcs and just jump in and see if it's something that you enjoy. We've got Warwolf issue 3 from Mad Cave. This book was definitely the turn. Like we always say, issue 3, that's the turn. This one actually took a big turn and gives us so much of the story we didn't know we were going to get. We actually fast forward to a different future, and we get to see a lot from this. If you don't know, Warwolf is the story of a guy who was a security guard, and not a very good one. During an alien invasion, he decides to stand up and fight against the aliens as they attack the place that he is the security guard for. He ends up stopping all of the aliens, and then the aliens come back, and they ask specifically to talk to him, and through some mysterious way, which we have no idea what happened, he is able to convince the aliens to just leave the planet Earth. We literally have no idea what happened, and it is going to come into play in a big way. Now it is 1992 in the story. It has fast forwarded. He is suddenly working as a politician. He has all kinds of power in this world. He's married to a woman who is essentially like a Kennedy, and she's just kind of pushing his power even further. And he's trying to get some policies passed, especially some that will keep them safe from future alien invasions, because he really thinks something is going to happen that they need to be prepared for. But he is starting to have some, I don't want to show you any of the stuff in. He's starting to have these visions and dreams and terrible nightmares, and he feels like something bad is coming. And yet, again, we still don't know what deal he made with the aliens to save Earth, but I have a feeling that when we get to issue 4, we're going to find out some extremely crazy things from this story. You have to check it out. I have no idea where Steve Orlando is going with this book, honestly. But now I'm even, like, I was already like, this is hilarious, and I'm into the story. Now I'm like, okay, this is like super weird and off the wall and also still hilarious, and where is this guy gonna end up? Steve Orlando is gonna take us in some weird crazy journey, and I can't wait. All right, we've got Twilight Zone issue 3 from IDW in their dark imprint, and this is also James Stokey this week doing the whole thing for us. So if you liked Orphan and Five Beasts and you haven't picked up this week's Twilight Zone, you're gonna see some very familiar elements in here immediately. I love the Twilight Zone stories because we do get an anthology, and also IDW is putting some crazy powerful like artists and writers on this series that just are bringing us the weird that you need. And in this one, we are seeing that classic battle of trying to like take over. It seems like it's in an archaic time period where there, knights and people of the realm are trying to take this land. They're like, we're going to fight for it. We're going to destroy you all. And then we kind of start to notice there's something different about this world, and that maybe it's not the archaic land that we thought about. And there's one person that they capture from this place that they're trying to attack, and he's like, you just need to be refreshed. God will refresh you. You need to be refreshed by our God. And we get to go on this journey with this person through the depths of this town and learn what their God actually is. And we kind of start to see all of that exposed. And I don't want to tell you any of it because it is the twist and turn of a Twilight Zone episode that you absolutely expect and want to read. And it's so good. And I love the commentary. I love the arts. I love the just the different character builds and how much they build in this world in so quick of an issue. If you didn't read it, grab it, check it out. Especially again, if you like Orphan and Five Beasts, because you're going to see that same art and writing style in it. I'm going to take another drink of our wine. It's the Louis Jadot. Now it's got a lot more spice to it. I just took way big of a drink also, and I'm like, oh man, that was worth it. That was so good. You're like holding it in. Yes. So good. It's so spicy, but still on like a strawberry like finish. Like now it's like flip-flops. I got all the spice like as I was drinking, and now I'm like sitting here with like strawberry. It was like a strawberry candy in my mouth, but without the sweetness.
It's like one of those strawberry
the ones that every grandparent had in the little like
shaped like a strawberry.
Yeah, tastes like that.
With like a field of flowers.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting in a field of flowers
eating one of those candies. Yes.
Nice.
I love that description. All right, we're going to jump to number 2 issues. We've got Hellboy and the BRPD. This is the Ghost Ships of Labrador, number 2 from Dark Horse and your Midnight Universe. Again, I always say this, but if you've never read Hellboy, these are a really great way to get some stories out of the universe with the characters and just kind of get to experience the fun of them. This one is kind of like if you stuck Hellboy into the fog, because he is on this island place and they keep talking about these ghosts that are attacking them, and this ship that kind of comes out of the fog. And so the first issue kind of really felt like that until Hellboy was captured by this ship as he's trying to stop these ghosts and these creatures from whatever it is they're doing. And now we kind of get the Pirates of the Caribbean movie 2, like the Davy Jones locker kind of thing, because Hellboy is stuck on this ship. And he kind of gets the part of the ship, part of the crew mentality, because he's able to escape only to find himself back in, like, on the ship again. And he learns from all of these people that there's just, like, once the ship has chosen you, you're just kind of stuck on the ship. And so Hellboy is trying to figure out exactly how to get himself away from this, as well as to get these ghosts and this haunted ship away from the island that he's supposed to be protecting. And they've got to figure out what exactly is causing these demons to haunt this space. And meanwhile, Abe Sapien is back on the mainland trying to figure out how he can get to his buddy and save him. And that's it. That's the whole issue, the whole series. It's a 2-issue series, as most of those Hellboy books are, so it's really cool because you can just, like I said, pop into the world and learn about it and pop back out. We've got Cyberarchy issue 2 from Mad Cave. It's an anthology story of this world of robots and aliens and things like that. And that makes sense because I was really curious after reading issue 1. I felt like it was a really great one-shot. So I was like, what is going to happen in this issue 2 when that book kind of seemed completely wrapped up? And so this kind of gives us another story in that world. And it's very much kind of a commentary on just the work-life balance and that concept that your job will never truly love you. We get to see that a lot because we were following this couple and they are synthetic themselves. They're kind of like android-esque people, and they're just having a regular day-to-day conversation. Like the man's like, oh, like honey, like It's what do you have to do at work this week? And she's like, oh, I have to continue my work on this and this and this. And he's like, oh, I never understand what you're talking about. And essentially she's like, I have to do my job, which is to stop these bug attacks that are attacking everybody. And she's telling him that they take the bugs that attack them and they grind them down and they turn them into like the fuel for the robots that, do all the work that they don't want to do in this world. And then she gets eaten by a bug. And that's on like page 2 or 3. So I'm totally not spoiling the story for you. And then he goes home and he's like, oh, turns out wife was eaten by a bug today at work. Seems to happen to a lot of people. And then she like comes back to life and she's back at the home and she's like, did I miss everything? And he's like, I saved your favorite TV show for you. And they just kind of like sit down and watch their TV show. And he's like, did you hear that kids are doing drugs and then asking the bugs to eat them? And she's like, that's fake news. Like, that's not happening. And so it's just like a thing about reality. But then the whole time she's like, well, I'm just really upset because I missed work today because I got eaten by a bug. And then there's just these nice little twists and turns where she finds out that even her role, that she thinks she's so high up and she knows all this stuff about what's going on and she's so important, and she finds out that like even she doesn't really know anything and like the job doesn't really love her, and the way that they blend and move all of that is such a cool way to tell this story. I definitely think if you haven't checked out Cyberarchy and you like those, like if you like a sci-fi EC kind of story where it's more just there's a lesson in there, but not necessarily like a horror one. Kind of like Terabytes. If you're liking Terabytes, also from Mad Cave, you'll probably like this as well. Did Anthony just say the same thing? Yeah, I figured. I was like, he's going to get there before me because I couldn't think of the word terabyte. We've got Arcadia issue 2 from Ignition Press right here. This is from the Miranda brothers, who are known for their work on We Live. And they're bringing us another big adventure. And this issue definitely expands that world in a really big way. This is all about a futuristic society where basically the people, like we've stopped having people, and people are now kind of born out of these machines with a purpose and a certain amount of time that they are able to live, and they have to have these cells of energy in order to continue living. And essentially those are getting really few and far between because the production of them doesn't exist anymore, as well as nature is trying to reclaim the earth. And we've been following a couple of people, a man who is trying to figure out how to stop the death of these people, how to find a way to produce this material again, and how to save everybody. And he recently took in a young person who was just like freshly born and is trying to expose them to the world and save them from all of this stuff. And that kid, as he's grown, has just recently fell for a girl. He's got a huge crush on this girl who is the fixer, and so he kind of keeps breaking his equipment so that he has to go see this girl so she can fix stuff for him. Well, in this issue, he finds the certain cells that he's been looking for, and he makes some stupid teenage boy choices, and it's after that he learns what is really at stake in this world, and for his family specifically, and now he's going to find himself going on a very dangerous adventure in order to potentially save or not save everything he loves. Inferno Girl Red, issue 2. This is from Image Comics and Your Massive Verse, which is celebrating 5 years this year, which is crazy to think that it's been that long since Radiant Black came out. This is from that same world. However, if you are not reading Radiant Black or Rogue Sun or any of those, it doesn't matter. You can read this one completely on its own. The one thing you do need to read is the previous volume of Inferno Girl Red if you want to jump in, because this does pick up exactly where that left off, which is the story of a young girl who finds herself suddenly with superpowers. And in volume 1, there was this massive monster attack on the space that they were in, and she had to fight against it. These people are all living in this safety dome that's keeping them safe out in the middle of space. And if that dome gets damaged in any way, obviously everybody's gonna die. She found out in the last volume that her principal of her school, who's her mentor, is actually the previous Infernal Girl Red. And so she has that, that older person mentor that's leading her through this and helping her. But in this volume, her friends have also learned that she is Infernal Girl Red. And so they are her squad. They're her guys in the chair, which is really cool as she gets to learn not only how to use her powers with her friends, but also they are building her gadgets and helping her with the emotional stress of being a superhero. We are currently dealing with the fact that there are these two evil twins who are trying, the children of this like evil woman who is trying to destroy everything, and they are threatening to destroy the portal that's keeping them safe, the bubble that they all live in. And so they've been setting up these attacks. Meanwhile, we also have our previous bad guy who we were already dealing with, who is actually, we know is actually the friend of Inferno Girl Red, the girl that, the boy that she has a crush on. And she's kind of dealing with the fact that she knows that he's the other bad guy and is trying to bring him back from the depths of that in a very like Spider-Man, like Harry Osborn kind of way. There's only one more issue of this, and so we're going to see how this volume plays out. I don't know if there'll be another one or if that's going to be the complete wrap of the story, but I am really excited that of the side quest of the Radiant Massive Verse, we got to see more of Infernal Girl Red, because her story has always been like oversized and really good issues. So we've got Aerotech issue 2 from the mature line of SHP. So I'm going to put my hand right here because I don't want to put that on the internet. But this is a very adult book that I actually really love. It's a great story about it's about a woman who is honestly, like, the actual story is about a woman who is trying to get ahead in her corporate life, and the way that corporations treat women and how they kind of don't give them the power even though they say they do. And but the thing is that she works for a company that builds sex robots, and she is trying to the sex robot that they are building in issue 1 doesn't know, like, the stop function on it doesn't work, and so their test subjects are having a lot of problems, and they're supposed to go live with this new model of the robot soon, and none of the people in her job actually respect her because she's a woman, so they don't even listen when she has their production meetings. Nobody is taking her ideas seriously, and in fact, in the last meeting, or in the last issue, she held a meeting where she told them if they really wanted to get ahead in the market, that they would make sex robots specifically for lesbians. And they all kind of laughed at her. And in this issue, they've brought in an older gentleman who is friends with the owner, who is like, oh, I'm not here to take your job. I'm just here to kind of help guide you through your process and make sure, like, the people are listening and that you have the support you need. But, like, also 100% he is there to take her job, right? And also other things that he is just, like, he is all of the red flags of a person that they bring in at a corporation. Meanwhile, her underlings have figured out that they're going to fire her if she fails on this mission. So they're just like, oh, well, we wouldn't have to listen to this woman anymore if we just didn't do our jobs and she failed. Then maybe we wouldn't have to worry about her being our boss anymore, because we don't want to listen to a woman. And it's just such a strong commentary on the corporate world, while also being a really great kind of full of satire and great commentary and great storytelling. And I just can't wait to see where this series goes, because there are some things that happen in this issue that you're like, oh, I know how this plays out in every job ever, and we're gonna see exactly what happens when this does do that, because this is gonna be it's gonna get bad fast. And she is making some choices that are, like, really powerful and strong, and also some choices that are really stupid. And you know what? We're gonna see where it goes. We've got Afterburn issue 2 from Red 5. Afterburn is actually about to be a movie that is coming to the theater soon. So if you are interested in that, you're going to want to jump in and check this out. We do have previous volumes of the story. But basically there are, across the world, there was what they call burn zones, which has all of these monstrous, like, mutated animals and people, kind of created zombie apocalypses, essentially. But it was contained to different pockets of the world. And there's a group of people who they go to the different zones and kind of retrieve people, things, etc. for money. Like, they're essentially like zombie mercenaries. And they were hired by a man who is a powerful corporate guy who wants to get his niece back from a group of warlords in Africa who are inside of a burn zone. And so they go to try to retrieve this woman. And in this issue, we actually find out that she has no desire to leave the space she's in, and that's going to make things even harder. She's kind of turned us on to the fact that her uncle might not be who he says he is. Meanwhile, we are now in the jungles of a mutated world where the animals, the people, everybody are zombies, and it is only the beginning of this terrible journey for these people. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Godzilla issue 2 from IDW. You know what? Godzilla and Ninja Turtles have both crossed over with so many people this year. Why not with each other? And it's totally working. This is just a sick cover. But we are coming back to this story where the Turtles are having to deal with the outbreak of kaiju in their area, and not only are they having to kind of deal with Godzilla, but now we are seeing King Ghidorah is actually like in New York causing problems, and Casey Jones and Mondo Gecko are kind of dealing with that. We also see like the government trying to send in Mecha Godzilla to help them out. Rodan is here. Everybody, like, they're all here, and we've learned that that Splinter and his former master had the ability to kind of stop Godzilla when they were, when he was growing up in Japan as a young rat. They could actually like find ways to speak to these kaiju and kind of get on that frequency so that they could speak to him. And so they are trying to figure out if the turtles themselves, like Splinter's trying to train them in a way that maybe they could do that before it's too late. And as they're trying to do that, everywhere else is seeing ultimate destruction from all of these kaiju. So it's kind of like, bro, you guys got to hurry up, like turtles. But the thing is that they say that, the biggest part and the reason that it should work so well for the turtles is that as long as everybody working on it is in unison and harmony, they should be able to do it. So the turtles, of course, should be great at it. But there's some really hard feelings coming from some of the turtles right now towards each other. And their ability to balance their harmony long enough to work with Godzilla might not happen. Speaking of the turtles not being able to balance their harmony, we've got TMNT Battle Nexus issue 2, also from IDW. This is like, if you're loving DCKO and you were like, I wish I had that in the Ninja Turtles universe, bam, it's right here. It's actually happening right now. And so this is all about a battle planet where one of the Turtles villains has been ostracized, like he's been excommunicated to this battle planet, and he decides that he is going to bring turtles out here to like punish them. And so he brings the 4 turtles to this and basically makes them fight against different people from the different turtles dimensions. And so this is our Leonardo fighting against the Shredder from a different dimension, which of course you can see he's the black and white Shredder. And so Leonardo is fighting against him, and we get to see how that battle goes down. And then the turtles kind of figure out that like, this isn't the first time this happened. Like, turtles have been brought from different turtle dimensions for decades now, and the turtles never win. And they just get to see these turtles get like knocked out from the different by these different people every time. And this one person who's like in the cell with them, who himself is very familiar, is like, nobody is gonna make it. Like, you're all gonna die, and you're not gonna be able to you're not gonna be able to stop it. We get to see where the next battle is gonna be, and it's so great. I love the way they present them. I love the way the storytelling is so funny on this. And it also is just, again, if you're loving DCKO and you want it for turtles, or if you're like, DCKO sounds cool, but I'm not a DC fan, I'm an Ninja Turtles person, there you go. You've got your own right here. We've got Carmen Redclaw, issue 1, from Dark Horse and the Mignola-verse, and this was actually on Pizza with Pizzo this week, so this is one of Pizzo's big books, and this it's just a fun story, again, in that Hellboy universe, but not even featuring Hellboy necessarily. This is all about a woman who is in the Old West, and she's that demon hunter that you call into the Old West world to do your fighting against those things. She's a hunter, tracker of fiends and demons, and she is called to a place where they are having trouble with their farm, and there seems to be these mysterious creatures that are attacking them and slaughtering everybody on there. And so they bring her in to try to do what she does best and solve this problem. Meanwhile, her lizard companion is telling her all about what is actually, like, what they think is happening, because she has this talking lizard. I don't know if anybody else can hear the lizard but her, but it's kind of cool. And then we get to see some of the creatures of the area that are their own kind of demons, who they thought might be responsible for the problems, but are not in fact that. Is it a chupacabra? Is it something else? Is there a bigger monster at play here? And how is Carmen going to solve this? We're going to see all of those things over the next 4 issues, which is cool, because again, I said most of these Hellboy issues are only 2 issues. I like that this one's going to be 4, because I think this character is going to build out a really cool story for us. We've got Vince, Breakthrough Quarter Clash. This is issue 1 from Boombox. Now, the thing about Vince that you absolutely need to know is that even though they give us these new titles, they're kind of just breaking up the volumes with a new title of this one semester of these fights. One day, honestly. All of the ones that have come out in 2025 have been part of this one day. So you do need to read the other pieces of Vince to understand what's going on. You can't just jump in here. But what Vince is it's your classic sports boy love manga in the Western style. So this is all about two competing schools that do fencing, and them trying to get through this round of, like, they're all, I guess not even just 2 schools. We focus on 2 schools, but it's a finals, a quarterfinals, a state match essentially of fencing, and we're following 2 different schools as they vie for that top spot. But we're also seeing all of the behind the scenes of the different things. In the last volume, we saw one of the understudies get to go in and get off the bench and actually get to fence and actually be really, really good at it. We've seen some new people and some new techniques, but we're also seeing in this series, we're actually seeing some of our people finally admit that they have feelings for each other. And just actually some of the things that complicate that. Like, I think we're getting our first real signs of a love triangle in here, but that's going between the 2 different teams, and it's really messing with a lot of people's heads. And we're gonna see that it might very well make the entire match fall apart, and we see some of that in this issue already starting, and loyalties are extremely tested in this issue already. And so where this is gonna go, I don't know, but it's gonna be bad for the team, so I hope they work it out, because I hate to see them not getting along. We've got The Shiver of Christmastown, issue 1 from Dynamite, from the Nightmare Before Christmas world. We're starting to see a lot of Nightmare Before Christmas finally expand beyond just what happened in that one single story. And so this is really cool. They are working to create Halloween for Christmastown. It's going to be the first time that Christmastown gets to actually celebrate a holiday like Halloween, and the Halloween Town people are actually setting it up for them, and they're very excited to share this with their friends. And Dr. Finkelstein and Sally have been in charge of creating some kind of creepy, terrifying beast that they can send over to Christmastown, only for it to come out of the experiment a cute, adorable, cuddly little teddy bear that Sally absolutely refuses to let them destroy because she thinks it's so cute. Well, Lock, Shock, and Barrel are supposed to be in charge of teaching the Christmastown kids how to trick or treat and how to make sure that tricks and treats all go off in a wonderful way. And so they're trying to find the perfect thing to create their tricks out of, and they just happen to come across the fact that Shiver, the Christmas bear, has been created, and they think this is the perfect thing for them to steal. And so they steal it and they take it home with them with the intent of taking it to Christmastown to wreak havoc the next day, only for Shiver the bear to be discovered by some other people in their home, and the dangers of Oogie Boogie possibly getting his hands on Shiver the bear are real. And we're going to see exactly what Shiver really is, because I think Shiver's going to be a little more Halloween Town than they're giving him credit for, but he's going to be adorable no matter what. And then we've got the radically rearranged Ronin Ragdoss. This is technically issue 100, but it's also issue the only one. And this is part of your Drawing Blood universe from Image Comics. And so if you've been reading Drawing Blood, you know that is the story essentially of a fictionalized, sensationalized recounting of Kevin Eastman creating the Ninja Turtles. This is in fact, his version of the Ninja Turtles, the radically rearranged Ronin Ragdolls. And this is the comic within the comic. This is letting us see some of their stories. And so this is a two-part issue that's going to show the Ragdolls as they go on an adventure. And that adventure is that all of the fish have gone missing. There's only one fish in the marketplace, and it is a pet fish that a guy doesn't really want to sell, but he's out of money, so he's charging $50,000 for somebody to buy his pet fish to turn it into their dinner. And the evil dogs come and steal this fish, and the Ragdolls have to do their part to stop them. And while they're uncovering what is going on with these fish-stealing dogs, they learn that they have actually been taking all of the fish, and that their evil overlord dog is actually trying to create these like kaiju sentient fish that can attack everybody. And they're like, it's so funny because they're like, what is your end game here? Like, you're gonna rule over sentient large fish, like anthropomorphic fish villains? Like, what is it exactly that you want? And the villain is like, I actually didn't think this through very much, but I have them now and I'm going to attack you with them. And the Ragdolls have to actually figure out how to save the day. It's so funny. It's just charming. I definitely want more of this. I want to see them build a cartoon out of it. Like, it's exactly what you expect. It's everything you would want. And it feels like, it feels like reading Saturday Morning Adventure Ninja Turtles, because that's exactly what it's supposed to be. So it's fun if you're in universe reading Drawing Blood. If you are not reading Drawing Blood, it's honestly just fun, and it's just going to make you want more, and you're going to be like, hey, maybe I should read Drawing Blood. And maybe they should make more radically rearranged Ronin Ragdolls. All right, I'm going to take another drink before I do Picks of the Week. We are drinking Louis Jadot Beaujolais. It's so good. It's like the level of sweet that I would want too. Like, it's like perfectly on that line where I'm like, that's got a nice flavor.
A little sour.
Yeah.
Back end. It's very nice.
It's very
balanced.
Nice.
No alcoholic. I can't taste alcohol on
it. It doesn't taste like, it's not like a heavy, like acidic, like alcohol taste. Yeah. Like, it tastes like, I mean, it still tastes like wine, but like not like wine.
Right, when you drink a cheap wine,
yeah,
it's alcohol-y.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't taste like that. All right, we've got 3 picks of the week. I'm going to toss your way. First up is Devil on My Shoulder #2 from Dark Horse and our friend Kyle Starks. This is a revenge story, and it is going to be violent and gory and crazy the whole way through. I know issue 1 actually even had a trigger warning for how violent it got, and rightfully so. And this is going to keep it going, and I'm going to show you just a little bit of that. This is all about a girl who, like, a woman who, when she's young, she, like, when she's, in her 20s or so, it's like 5 years ago, she was kidnapped by these men, or these young boys that were in her age. It was like a bunch of frat guys took this girl from a bar, and they tied her up in a barn, and they just kept her there for months and months, just torturing her. And they thought that she had died, and they dumped her in the river to get rid of the body. And she ended up washing up and landing at I guess it was 3.5 years ago. There's the actual timeline. She landed at a place where a monk at a monastery found her. And he essentially was like, you need to learn to, like, sit in this, and you need to get through this, and you're healing. And he's like, so let me teach you how to fight and go after all of these men and kill them. And you're like, yes, what monastery is this? Like, this guy is like, I have been through these places and I have found my peace by doing this, and you need to do it well yourself as well. And so now he's like helped train her, and now he's helping her hunt them all down, and the way she's just going after them and all of the stuff, it's so cool to see her get her revenge. And just you get like this huge heavy action movie. I mean, if you liked Where Monsters Lie, this has that same level of Kyle Stark's like darkness, without any of the humor. This is not one of Kyle Stark's satires or parodies or even just like comedies. This is like a straight, like, this is a revenge book. This woman needs to get her revenge. I'm not showing a lot of the inside because I don't want to spoil all of the ways that she like fights against them, but I love getting to see this is for like the stories where women get their revenge. And if you were a fan of what was it? The Vengeance. Oh my gosh, now I can't remember. I just had it in my head and I kept talking and I lost it. Vengeance is for the Living. If you were a fan of Vengeance is for the Living, this is another really good one for you. Definitely check it out. Again, trigger warnings though, because they do show all of the violence towards everybody in that, but it is, I want to see her take them all down. And then we have Archie versus Minor Threats, issue 4 from Dark Horse and Archie and our friend Timmy Heeg. It's such a great crossover, and we love to see Archie crossing over with some of these dark worlds, and this one does it in such a great way because we do see Patton Oswalt and Jordan Blum's Minor Threats world, which is so dark and gritty, stuck into the Archie Riverdale world where they are, you know, sitting at Pop Soda Shop, and they just want to have this perfect life, and yet we see the Archie characters thrown into the Minor Threats world, and they become dark and evil and angry. And like Archie is this extreme villain called Ginger Snaps, who's like trying to destroy everything. And all of this centers around the fact that there is this magical hand that can give the wearer of it the power to change reality and shift that. And Monster Girl from the Minor Threats world just really wants to find friendship and happiness, and she thought that she was going to be able to do that by creating this Minor Threats world in the Archie reality, and she stole it from the evil person who was trying to destroy everything. And now it's up to Sabrina to stop it all, but Sabrina is now trapped inside of her own mind and away from the ability to fight this. And so the Minor Threats characters, Frankie and Scalpel, have to come together with Archie, and Archie has to learn to find the good inside of him again, because he's of course from this dark reality, and so he's got to figure out like where is the goodness in him. And just hearing the way they like talk about what makes Archie good, and Archie kind of learning what makes him good and what makes everybody good is so wonderful. And I do love that when they get to these like climactic moments, Jughead is still classically Jughead, like asking for cheeseburgers, and everybody kind of like Veronica is there as Vamp Veronica, so we get to see her again. We get to see Jughead the Hunger, like we get to see all of our Archie world people mixed in with it. It's so good. You get all of the elements. If you are a fan of the Archie universe, Timmy is giving you so much fan service in a way that doesn't like overtake the story. There's so much just like little hints here and there of this Archie stuff, and then you've got all of your like fan service from the Minor Threats world. And for people who haven't read the Minor Threats world, yeah, it's a great introduction to who all these characters are and what their motivations are. So it's easier to go from this to jump into Minor Threats. And so it's a really good springboard into a lot of different things, while also being a great place for people who already love those worlds to come together and be like, I never would have thought these two worlds would mix, and they mix so well together in a new and exciting way. So it's wrapped up now. This is the last issue, so check it out. Add that to your crazy Archie crossovers I never thought would happen, but I'm glad they did list for sure. And then lastly, we have FML. This is issue 7 from Dark Horse. Wow, I didn't even notice that. The entirety of Picks of the Week is Dark Horse this week. Shout out Dark Horse, way to go. This is such a fun book. The story just continues to get better. Kelly Sue DeConnick has just really built something wonderful. And if you're not following along, this follows a family who's trying to deal with the world kind of like in the pandemic, post-pandemic, right kind of style. And it's a mom who's a a creator. She's built this, you know, true crime kind of background. She makes these great stories. She's kind of been out of it for a minute while she's been taking care of her kids, and now she's trying to return to her true crime world. And while she's doing that, her child is turning into this giant monster. Her other child is you know, becoming a little rambunctious. Everybody feels just lost and disconnected. And also, by the way, there's murder in the town, and the child has been blamed for it. And now there's another murder, and the child, her son, and her husband are being blamed for it. And so they're trying to figure out who actually, like, the mom is like, okay, I have to solve this murder. I have to put all of my true crime experience into action. Meanwhile, she's supposed to be speaking at a conference, which she absolutely hates. She hates speaking in front of people. She's like, can't I just do my job? Why do I have to go to these cons? And so her and her, like, crew of people are trying to actually figure out what is happening with these murders, while the kids are also trying to figure it out. Meanwhile, our possible murder suspect stolen the youngest child, and so she's trying to also save her daughter before it's too late, and things just keep shifting rapidly before they can figure out, like, before you can make the next move and you think you've got something kind of under control, it's completely gone again, which is of course a great metaphor for being a parent, because every time you think you have something under control, you just don't. Kelly Sue is putting so much heart behind every single character in the story, and yet every single character in the story has this weird quirk that feels more zine-like than even traditional, like, comic, because it's like you kind of feel like it's off the wall and they're not what you expect. But we are building such a good story. And speaking of, I keep saying, like, speaking of zines and stuff, they do have all this, like, cool back matter every issue where we get to see things from people, art, stories, thoughts, different things. And then in this issue, Kelly Sue also gives us an outtake, which is cool, of the first appearance of one of the characters that we saw. What if it had looked a little different? And I love that we get to see, you know, not everything makes it into a comic, and that the things that change and all of this stuff like that. Really cool. I love every single one of these characters. I do love also that it's just got this great family vibe that follows at the end of it, and just like the chaotic nature of just trying to keep it all together. And so what a great story. I'm glad it's back. I can't wait for more. And also, you know, cheers, Dark Horse, for a week where you dominated Picks of the Week for sure. All right, there's a bunch of other books in stock this week. I'm going to fly through them really fast. We've got Vampirella issue 9, Star Trek Voyager Homecoming issue 4, Marvel Rivals had another one-shot with the Cities of Heaven, Rick and Morty is coming to an end, and this is issue 2 of that ending, Nova Centurion issue 3, Marvel Black, White, Blood, and Guts issue 4, Cheetah and Cheshire are still robbing the Justice League. I think this might wrap it up, though, with issue 6. Absolute Superman issue 15, Absolute Green Lantern issue 10, Matt Fraction's Batman hits issue 5 this week, Batman, Green Arrow, and The Question Arcadia issue 2 is out. We've got Batgirl issue 9, I love that Gotham City Sirens cover, Poison Ivy issue 40 of 6, I love that. Way to go. We've got the all-new Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider issue 6. We've got Spider-Man Noir issue 4. We've got Amazing Spider-Man 19. Adventures of Superman Book of L issue 5. We've got Venom issue 253. Wolverine issue 14. X-Men is back, no longer in your Age of Revelation, though this one does connect and kind of tells you where we're coming to out of that. And then, of course, we had the release of Absolute Batman Arc M this week, which was huge, crazy. Everybody was so excited about it. That Absolute Batman series is just giving us all the craziness and all the different ways that they are showing us things. I'm going to take another drink before I cough again. Not exactly the way you want to wash down the fact that you have to cough, but it's okay. Woo, that might have made it worse. All right, we've got some novels, graphic novels, and trade paperbacks in stock. We've got the new paperback version of Blood Beneath the Snow, which is a novel, which I'm really excited about. It's a heart-pounding romance following a rebellious princess who must fight her brothers to the death while also battling her feelings for her country's most powerful enemy. All the things I love in the world. We've got a new novel for Miss Marvel. This is Miss Marvel, Remnants of the Past. This is from New Jersey to Pakistan. Miss Marvel must fight for what's right, especially when things aren't as they appear. I love Kamala Khan stories, and I cannot wait to read this novel. Cruel Kingdom, which is the fantasy version of EC storytelling right now, has released the trade paperback of all of the issues, which is issues 1 through 4 of Cruel Kingdom. We've got When I Lay My Vengeance Upon Thee. This was a wild story about a disgraced priest and the mysterious demons that he's dealing with, both actually in his mind and in reality, and it gets dark. And also I have to show you this art because it gets crazy. I want to see if I can find one of those demon pages. Well, we'll just look at that, but it just gets like, there's some wildness to even the art and the way the demons are portrayed in this book. You've got to check it out. This is the whole thing, which is issues 1 through 5. We've got Los Monstros. Woo! This is issues 1 through 4 of Los Monstros, which is a crime noir detective kind of story, but in the town of LA, which is actually a town full of monsters in the 1950s, and it's such a cool way to do that story. We've got the full story of Under York. This is a book that came out a couple years ago, and we kind of didn't get to see like where all that went, and now it's in trade paperback, so you can read the whole story. And then the newest volume of Catwoman. This is issues 75 through 78 of the current run of Catwoman, if you need to catch up on that. And lastly, you've been waiting for it. It's finally happened. I've been asked by so many people so many times over the last couple months. It's here. You need it. It is Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow in the DC Compact Edition, which means it is $9.99. It is so great that you finally get to, if you didn't read it already, Tom King and Bill Quist-Evely's masterpiece. This is what you need to read for your Supergirl movie that is coming out soon. You absolutely have to read this gorgeous book. If you are a fan of Supergirl, if you're not a fan of Supergirl, if you're a fan of Tom King, if you're not a fan of Tom King, if you loved Helen of Windhorn, I'm not going to say if you didn't, because you just loved Helen Windhorn. So you've got to read this book. Check it out. There's a reason why it won all of the like awards, and why it was so good, and why they're making a movie out of it. So you've got to check it out for sure. For $10, add it to your collection. All right, that's all I got for you. Don't forget that this week, Wednesday night at 6 p.m., we have Manga Meetup. Come talk to us about all your favorite manga. Thursday night at 8 p.m. is Ladies and Non-Binary Nerd Night. Come hang out with us. We're going to have a blast. Saturday at 11:30 and 3:30, come for those comic creation workshops. And because I forgot to announce it at the beginning, on the 19th, make sure to tune in for a special show where we have our annual Bat-tastic Awards, where we're going to tell you about all of the best and all the award winners in our eyes for 2025. So come join me and cartoonist Anthony Pizzo as we talk about all of our book winners of the year for last year on the 19th. But until then, we will see you right here next Wednesday or Sunday night, or in the shop on Wednesday. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.